The Ambush Deep Space Patrol Commander Elena Vasquez stood on the bridge of the UES Phoenix, watching the endless stars stretch across the main viewport. The ship hummed quietly through space, following its regular patrol route along the outer edges of human territory. This was her second year commanding the Phoenix, a mid-sized warship tasked with protecting the Kepler mining colonies from pirates and other threats. The Phoenix was not the largest ship in the human fleet, but it was reliable. Built for long-range patrols, it carried a crew of 180 and enough firepower to handle most problems they might encounter. Vasquez had served in the military for 12 years, working her way up through the ranks. She was known for her calm thinking and ability to make quick decisions under pressure. The bridge was quiet this morning. Most of the crew went about their routine duties while the ship continued its slow journey through the void. Lieutenant Jake Morrison sat at the navigation station, monitoring their course and checking for any unusual activity. Chief Engineer Rosa Kim worked in the engine room, keeping their fusion reactors running smoothly. "Commander, I'm picking up something on long-range sensors," Morrison called out from his station. He was young and eager, fresh from the academy but skilled at his job. "Multiple contacts heading our way from the Zeta sector." Vasquez walked over to examine the sensor display. The readings showed several large objects moving in formation toward their position. The ships appeared to be much bigger than the Phoenix and were traveling at high speed. "How many ships are we looking at?" she asked. "I count 8 vessels, ma'am. They're still about an hour away, but their design doesn't match anything in our database." Morrison adjusted his controls to get a clearer reading. "These aren't human ships and they're not pirates." The commander felt a knot form in her stomach. Unknown alien contacts usually meant trouble, especially when they traveled in large groups. In her experience, species that moved in fleets were either traitors or conquerors, and traitors usually announced themselves. "Send a priority message to Fleet Command," she ordered. "Inform them of our situation and request backup. Then bring the ship to yellow alert." The bridge crew immediately became more active as they prepared for possible danger. Yellow alert meant they were ready for trouble but not actively hostile. Vasquez hoped they could resolve this situation peacefully, but she had learned to prepare for the worst. First contact, the alien fleet appeared on their main screen exactly 1 hour later. 8 massive warships arranged in a perfect attack formation, each one twice the size of the Phoenix. Their hulls were silver and angular, covered with weapons that glowed with blue energy. They moved with the precision of a highly trained military force. "Open a communication channel," Vasquez commanded. "Channel open, Commander," replied Morrison. "Unknown vessels. This is Commander Elena Vasquez of the United Earthship Phoenix. You are entering human territory. Please state your intentions and identify yourselves." The response came immediately. The voice was cold and mechanical, speaking through an advanced translation system. "Human vessel, this is Fleet Commander Zix of the Zephyrian Empire. You will surrender your ship immediately and prepare to be boarded. Resistance will result in your destruction." Vasquez exchanged glances with her crew. The aliens had made their intentions clear. There would be no negotiation. "Fleet Commander Zix, we are on a peaceful patrol mission in our own territory. We have done nothing to threaten you. I suggest we discuss this situation like civilized beings." A sound that might have been laughter came through the speakers. "Humans do not negotiate with the Zephyrian Empire. You are a primitive species that has barely learned to travel between stars. Your ship will surrender now or we will take it by force." The commander looked around her bridge. Her crew was ready for battle, though they all understood the odds. 8 advanced warships against 1 patrol vessel was not a fight they could win through conventional means. But Vasquez had not become a commander by backing down from impossible situations. Behind them were 3 mining colonies with over 1 million human civilians. If she retreated, these aliens would learn the location of those settlements. "The trap red alert," Vasquez called out. "All hands to battle stations. Raise shields and charge weapons." The Phoenix immediately transformed from a peaceful patrol ship into a warship ready for combat. Crew members ran to their posts as alarm bells echoed through the corridors. The ship's shields activated, creating a protective barrier around the hull. The Zephyrian ships began moving into position around the Phoenix, forming a sphere that blocked all escape routes. Their weapons powered up, bathing the area in threatening blue light. "Commander, they're surrounding us," Morrison reported. "All 8 ships are taking strategic positions. We can't run." Chief Kim's voice came through the communication system from engineering. "Shields are at maximum power, but I don't think they'll hold long against that kind of firepower." Vasquez studied the tactical display. The aliens were positioning themselves for maximum damage while minimizing risk to their own ships. It was a textbook military maneuver designed to destroy an enemy quickly and completely. "Any word from Fleet Command?" she asked. "Negative, Commander. Our backup is still hours away." The Zephyrian fleet opened fire without warning. Brilliant blue energy beams struck the Phoenix from multiple directions at once. The ship's shields flared and sparked as they absorbed the massive assault. The bridge shook violently and several control panels exploded in showers of sparks and smoke. "Shields down to 70%. Morrison shouted over the noise of battle. "Return fire. Target their lead ship," Vasquez ordered. The Phoenix fought back with everything it had. Energy cannons and missile launchers sent a barrage of weapons toward the alien flagship. The human weapons were smaller and less powerful than the Zephyrian guns, but they were accurate and well-aimed. The alien commander seemed surprised that the humans were fighting back. His ship's shields absorbed the Phoenix's attack, but they flickered under the assault. Desperate innovation, the Zephyrian assault continued with devastating effect. The Phoenix shook and groaned under the constant bombardment as its shields weakened with each hit. Smoke filled the bridge as damaged systems sparked and failed. "Shields down to 40%. Morrison called out. "Hull breaches on decks 5 and 7. Vasquez gripped her command chair as another wave of enemy fire struck the ship. She knew they had only minutes before their defenses collapsed completely, but something about this battle was bothering her. The aliens were using overwhelming force against a single ship, as if they wanted to make an example of the Phoenix. That gave her an idea. "Chief Kim, can you reroute power from non-essential systems to the shields?" Kim's voice crackled through the damaged communication system. "I'm already doing that, Commander, but it won't buy us much time." "What about the mining equipment in Cargo Bay 3? Vasquez asked. The Phoenix carried industrial tools for helping the mining colonies with their operations. "The plasma cutters and gravity manipulators? They're not weapons, ma'am. They are now. Can you modify them to work through our weapon systems?" There was a brief pause as Kim considered the possibility. It would be crazy, but yes. The plasma cutters could be rigged to fire through the torpedo tubes, and the gravity manipulators might be able to disrupt their shield harmonics. "Do it. We need every advantage we can get." As the alien ships continued their attack, the Phoenix crew worked frantically to convert mining equipment into weapons. It was dangerous and untested, but it was their only chance against the superior alien technology. The human way. 20 minutes later, the Phoenix's shields finally collapsed under the relentless bombardment. Energy beams cut through the hull like knives through paper, causing explosions throughout the ship. The bridge filled with smoke as life support systems struggled to maintain breathable air. "Hull breaches on all decks," Morrison reported. "Life support is failing, but Chief Kim's modifications were complete. The mining equipment had been successfully converted into improvised weapons that the Zephyrians had never encountered before. "Fire the modified plasma cutters," Vasquez commanded. Instead of the standard energy beams, the Phoenix now fired superheated plasma streams that moved in unpredictable patterns. The industrial cutters had been designed to slice through asteroid rock, and they proved equally effective against alien ship hulls. The leading Zephyrian vessel was caught completely off guard. The plasma cutters burned through its shields as if they weren't there, and began melting holes in its armor. The alien ship staggered under the unexpected assault. "Activate gravity manipulators," Vasquez ordered. The mining tools created localized gravity fields that disrupted the aliens' formation. Ships that had been flying in perfect coordination suddenly found themselves pulled off course as artificial gravity wells appeared around them. Fleet Commander Zix watched his organized attack dissolve into chaos. These humans were using weapons and tactics his people had never seen before. How could a primitive species develop such innovative fighting methods? Turning the tide, the modified mining equipment proved devastatingly effective against the Zephyrian technology. The plasma cutters melted through alien shields and armor, while the gravity manipulators prevented the enemy ships from maintaining their attack formation. "Commander, look at this," Morrison called out excitedly. "The gravity fields are causing their ships to collide with each other." 2 Zephyrian vessels had been caught in overlapping gravity wells and were being pulled together. Their pilots struggled to maintain control, But the artificial forces were too strong. The ships crashed into each other with tremendous force, their hulls cracking and atmosphere venting into space. "Keep firing. Target their power systems," Vasquez commanded. The plasma cutters found their marks, burning through vital components on 3 more alien ships. Without their main reactors, the vessels went dark and began drifting helplessly through space. Fleet Commander Zix couldn't believe what he was seeing. His superior fleet was being destroyed by a single human ship using improvised weapons. This was supposed to be an easy victory, a demonstration of Zephyrian power. Instead, it was becoming their first major defeat in over a century. "All ships retreat," he commanded. "Fall back to minimum safe distance." But it was too late. The Phoenix had found the weakness in Zephyrian technology. Their advanced shields were designed to stop conventional energy weapons, not industrial plasma cutters. Their formation tactics assumed predictable enemy movement, not artificial gravity manipulation. The message: as the surviving Zephyrian ships limped away from the battle, Commander Vasquez allowed herself a moment to breathe. The Phoenix was badly damaged and barely operational, but they had won. A single human patrol ship had defeated an alien fleet through pure ingenuity and determination. "Commander, we're receiving communications from multiple sources," Morrison reported. "It looks like other alien civilizations detected the battle. The fight had created energy signatures that could be seen across several star systems. Every advanced species in the region now knew that humans had faced the mighty Zephyrian Empire and emerged victorious." "Send a message to Fleet Command," Vasquez ordered. "Tell them the Phoenix is still operational and the threat has been neutralized." Chief Kim's voice came from engineering. "Commander, I've got damage reports from every deck. We're going to need major repairs, but the ship will hold together." As news of the battle spread across the galaxy, other civilizations began to take notice of humanity. The species that had seemed weak and primitive had just accomplished something no one thought possible. They had defeated the Zephyrians using nothing but creativity and courage. The Phoenix had done more than win a single battle. They had announced to the galaxy that humanity was a force to be respected. Commander Vasquez and her crew had proven that humans didn't need the most advanced technology to succeed. They just needed to think differently and never give up. The damaged ship continued its patrol, but everything had changed. Humanity was no longer an unknown species hiding in the outer rim. They were now a major player in galactic politics. And it all started with one ship's refusal to surrender. The galaxy changes ripples. Across the stars, the news of the Phoenix's victory spread across the galaxy faster than anyone expected. Within hours of the battle, every major civilization had received reports of the impossible event. The Zephyrian Empire, masters of space warfare for over 3 centuries, had been defeated by a single human patrol ship. On the planet Nexus Prime, home to the Galactic Trade Federation, Ambassador Corvain studied the battle reports with growing amazement. The Altarian diplomat was known for his careful analysis of military conflicts, but this event defied all logical explanation. "How is this possible?" he asked his aide. 8 Zephyrian warships defeated by one primitive human vessel? His assistant, a young Altarian named Vex, reviewed the data again. "The reports are consistent across multiple sources. The humans used modified industrial equipment as weapons. They converted mining tools into plasma cannons and gravity manipulators." Corvain leaned back in his chair. In over 40 years of diplomatic service, he had never seen anything like this. The Zephyrians were known throughout the galaxy as an unstoppable military force. They had conquered dozens of worlds and enslaved multiple species. Yet somehow these humans had found a way to defeat them using improvised weapons and tactics. "Send a message to the Federation Council," Corvain ordered. "We need to establish diplomatic contact with this human species immediately." Similar conversations were taking place on worlds across the galaxy. The crystalline collective the void touched, the hegemony of stars. Every major power was scrambling to understand what had happened and what it meant for the balance of galactic politics. The Zephyrian Response Fleet Commander, Zix, stood before the Supreme Council of the Zephyrian Empire, his career in ruins. The massive chamber on the homeworld of Zephyr was filled with the Empire's most powerful leaders, all of them demanding answers about the humiliating defeat. "Explain to us how a single primitive ship destroyed 5 of our warships and forced your retreat," demanded Supreme Commander Thane, the military leader of the entire Empire. His voice echoed through the chamber with barely controlled rage. Zix had served the Empire faithfully for 30 years, winning countless battles against inferior species. But none of that mattered now. He had suffered the first major Zephyrian defeat in living memory. The humans used unconventional weapons and tactics, he replied carefully. They modified industrial equipment to bypass our shield technology. Our formation was disrupted by artificial gravity fields we had never encountered before. Industrial equipment? Thane's voice rose in disbelief. You're telling us that mining tools defeated our most advanced warships? The truth was even more disturbing than it sounded. The Zephyrian military had spent centuries perfecting their technology and tactics. Their shields were designed to stop the most powerful energy weapons. Their formations had been tested in hundreds of battles, yet the humans had found weaknesses no one else had discovered. How did they know our vulnerabilities? Asked Counselor Vrath, the Empire's chief scientist. Our shield harmonics are classified information. They didn't know, Zix admitted. They improvised. The humans adapted their mining equipment in real time during the battle. They created weapons we had never seen before. The council chamber fell silent as the implications became clear. The humans hadn't defeated the Zephyrians through superior technology or intelligence. They had won through pure adaptability and creativity. Supreme Commander Thane made a decision that would change the course of galactic history. Issue a standing order to all fleet commanders. Human space is to be avoided. Any ship that encounters human vessels is to withdraw immediately and report to command. For the first time in their history, the Zephyrian Empire was afraid. New alliances form on the planet Harmony. The peaceful Etherian collective held an emergency session of their High Council. The Etherians were known throughout the galaxy as diplomats and peacekeepers, rarely involving themselves in military conflicts. But the Phoenix's victory had captured their attention. High Counselor Lyra addressed the assembly of floating crystalline beings. The human action represents something we have not seen in centuries. A small force defending their territory against impossible odds. The Etherians had been victims of Zephyrian aggression in the past. Their peaceful nature made them easy targets for the Empire's expansion. Many of their outer colonies had been conquered before they developed effective defenses. Perhaps it is time we reached out to these humans, suggested Counselor Zen. If they can defeat the Zephyrians, they might be willing to help protect other peaceful species. The decision was unanimous. The Etherian collective would send a diplomatic mission to human space, offering an alliance based on mutual protection and trade. They were not alone in this decision. Across the galaxy, dozens of species that had lived in fear of Zephyrian expansion began to see hope for the first time in decades. The humans had proven that the Empire could be defeated, and now everyone wanted to know more about these remarkable beings. The Phoenix Comes Home Commander Vasquez stood on the observation deck of Kepler Station, watching repair crews work on the Phoenix. The ship looked like it had been through hell, with burn marks covering its hull and entire sections replaced with temporary patches. But it was alive, and so was its crew. The battle had cost them dearly. 18 crew members had died in the fighting, and another 30 were in the medical bay with serious injuries. Chief Kim was recovering from severe burns suffered while modifying the mining equipment. Lieutenant Morrison had a concussion from when the bridge took a direct hit. But they had won. Against all odds, they had defeated a superior enemy and protected the colonies behind them. Commander, a voice interrupted her thoughts. She turned to see Admiral Harrison, the commanding officer of the Kepler Defense Fleet. He was a veteran of many battles, but even he seemed impressed by what the Phoenix had accomplished. Admiral, she acknowledged with a salute. At ease, Commander. I wanted to speak with you about what happened out there. He joined her at the observation window. The entire galaxy is talking about your battle. We've received over 50 requests for diplomatic contact in the past 24 hours. Vasquez wasn't surprised. She had known the battle would have consequences, but the speed of the galactic response was overwhelming. What are Fleet Command's orders? She asked. You're being promoted to captain and given command of a new task force, Harrison replied. The Phoenix will be rebuilt with the latest technology, and you'll have 3 more ships under your command. Your mission will be to explore the galaxy and establish relationships with the species that want to contact us. The promotion was well-deserved, but Vasquez found herself thinking about her crew. They had faced impossible odds together and emerged victorious through teamwork and innovation. "What about my people?" she asked. "They're being promoted too. Chief Kim is getting her own engineering team, and Morrison is being made a full lieutenant commander. The entire crew of the Phoenix is being recognized for their service." The human reputation. 6 months after the battle, humanity's reputation in the galaxy had completely changed. What began as a single ship's desperate stand had become a legend that inspired countless species across the stars. The humans were no longer seen as a primitive species barely capable of space travel. They were now recognized as innovative warriors who could defeat any enemy through creativity and determination. This reputation brought both opportunities and challenges. Peaceful species wanted to ally with humanity for protection. Aggressive empires began to see humans as a threat to be eliminated. Neutral powers tried to balance relationships with both humans and their enemies. Captain Vasquez, now commanding a small fleet of exploration vessels, found herself at the center of these galactic politics. Her ship, the Phoenix II, was equipped with the most advanced human technology available, but more importantly, it carried the legend of the original Phoenix's victory. "Captain, we're receiving a transmission from the Etherian Collective," reported Commander Morrison from the communication station. He had recovered from his injuries and remained with Vasquez's crew. "Put them through," she ordered. The holographic display showed High Counselor Lyra, her crystalline form shimmering with peaceful energy. "Captain Vasquez, we are honored to speak with the hero of the Phoenix." "The honor is mine, High Counselor. How can humanity help the Etherian Collective? We wish to propose a mutual defense agreement. Your people have shown that even the mightiest empires can be defeated. Together we could protect the peaceful species of this galaxy." The galaxy reborn. 2 years after the Phoenix's impossible victory, the galaxy had transformed into something unrecognizable. The Zephyrian Empire, once the dominant military power, now avoided large sections of space where human allies patrolled. The Peaceful Alliance, led jointly by humanity and the Etherians, protected over 100 worlds from aggressive expansion. Captain Vasquez stood on the bridge of the Phoenix Ethrid, the third ship to bear that legendary name. Around her, a crew of both humans and aliens worked together in harmony. Chief Kim had trained Etherian engineers in human innovation techniques. Commander Morrison worked alongside Altarian navigators who brought their own expertise to the crew. "Captain, we're approaching the Meridian system," reported Lieutenant Sarah Chen, the young human officer who had replaced Morrison at navigation when he was promoted to executive officer. "Any signs of trouble?" Vasquez asked. "Negative, Captain. The system is peaceful. The local government has requested our help in establishing a new colony." This was the new reality. Humanity had become known not just as fierce warriors, but as protectors and innovators who helped other species achieve their potential. The desperate battle that began with one ship refusing to surrender had grown into a galactic movement. "Take us in, Lieutenant. Let's see how we can help." As the Phoenix III entered the Meridian system, Captain Vasquez reflected on how much had changed. The galaxy was no longer dominated by fear and aggression. The creative spirit that had saved her original ship now inspired countless worlds to work together for a better future. The Phoenix had burned brightly in that first battle, and its fire had spread across the stars. Humanity's greatest weapon was not their technology or their courage. It was their refusal to accept that any situation was hopeless. When faced with impossible odds, they didn't surrender. They innovated, adapted, and found a way to win. The legacy of that single human warship would echo through galactic history forever. In the moment when everything could have been lost, they had chosen to fight, and in fighting, they had changed everything. The galaxy had learned a lesson that day. Never underestimate the species that calls itself human. They might not have the biggest ships or the most advanced weapons, but they have something far more dangerous: the absolute refusal to give up. And that, more than any technology, made them unstoppable.